All right, hey guys, this is going to be the lesson video for 1.4. It's the second half of 1.4. The first part with the naming of polygons and things like that was included in a earlier video that I posted in Google Classroom right after you guys were finished taking your quiz. So this is the second part. We're going to talk about perimeter, what it is, what it looks like in the coordinate plane, all that good stuff. So here we go. First, what is perimeter? So perimeter is, you might remember from an earlier math class, the distance around the outside of a shape. Okay, particularly around the outside of a polygon. So today we're going to look at what that happens to look like in the coordinate plane. So the first thing we need to do is draw a coordinate plane. On future pages of this packet, I have put coordinate planes on there. On this first one, I forgot to. So we're going to draw our own. And just go out to about 5 in each direction. And in fact, for this first one, let's just go out to 5 in these 3 directions. We don't have to worry about the negative at the moment in the x-axis, since our coordinates are going to be 1, 4, 1, -3, and 4, -3. All right. So we're going to go ahead and plot those points, and we're going to figure out the perimeter of this triangle. So first, A is over 1 up 4. B is over 1 down 3. C is over 4 down 3. So then we connect the dots. And we're good. So now we've got our triangle. And with finding some of the sides, it will be easier than others. Finding any horizontal or vertical sides is super easy. Our rule for vertical or horizontal sides, just count. So what I mean by that, start at B and count how many it takes to get to C. So you just go over 1, 2, 3. And we know that side length is 3. Or start at B and go up to A, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we know that side is 7 units long. Vertical and horizontal sides are easy to do that with. The problem is when it comes to diagonal sides, I can't just count how far that is. So for diagonal, instead, we are going to use the distance formula. And that is something that we learned back in 1.3. So we're going to use the distance formula. Let's remind ourselves what that formula is. It's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right, so in this case, we only have to do the distance formula one time because there's one diagonal side. And I have to do it with points A and C. I need to know the distance between those 2 points. So A was 1, 4, and C was 4, -3. So we're going to label our points x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug them into the distance formula. So square root x2 minus x1 would be 4 minus 1. y2 minus y1 would be -3 minus 4. At this point, you could toss that into a calculator if you like, but I'm going to continue simplifying without one for the moment. 4 minus 1 is 3. -3 minus 4 is -7. Squared gives you 9 and 49. Add them together, you get the square root of 58. Now, when we're talking about distance, the square root of 58 is not all that helpful of a number. I don't know what the square root of 58 feet looks like. All right, so sorry about that. Like I said, square root of 58 is not a super helpful number as far as terms of measuring distance. So instead, we're going to take the square root of 58 in the calculator and get a decimal. So we get that it's approximately 7.62. So that would mean the side length is 7.62. Now to find the perimeter, all we have to do is add them all up. So 7 plus, not 6, 7.62 plus 3 gives us 17.62. So that would be the perimeter. Now, I know this sounds silly, but a lot of people get excited. They use the distance formula. I'm done, right? And they just say the answer is 7.62. But if you're asked for the perimeter, you need to make sure you're adding up three things if you're doing a three-sided shape. So if you're doing a four-sided shape or a five-sided shape, you might have to add 4 or 5 things together in order to get the perimeter. So keep in mind, that's an easy way to check yourself. Do I have everything I need? Well, you have to have all of the sides. All right. So next, we're going to try one of our homework problems together. We're going to do number 6. And I'm going to actually do number 6 on the next page where there's a whole bunch of graphs and graph paper. There's one here too that we'll use later. Okay. So number 6, the coordinates that went with number 6 from your homework, we had A is 4, -3. B is 7, 10. C is -8, 2. Okay, so those were all of our coordinates that went with that problem. So we're going to go ahead and plot those on our graph here. So we had 4, -3 over 7 up 10 and over -8 up 2. Okay, so for this one, we end up with 3 diagonal sides, which means we're going to have to do the distance formula 3 times. Most problems will not have this much distance formula involved. They might, but they usually don't have 3 distance formula things involved. But we're going to do it. And to make it a little easier on ourselves, we're going to jump straight to the calculator with these. And I'll talk about a few different kinds of calculator if we have time. Because it's different in everyone pretty much, or slightly different. So here we go. The first one that I'll find the distance between, we'll do A and B. So we're going to call those x1, y1, x2, y2, and we're going to set it up with our square root here. So square root x2 minus x1 is going to be 7 minus 4. y2 minus y1 is going to be 10 minus -3. Now, if you write it into the calculator exactly like this, it'll give you the answer without having to do quite as much simplifying intermediately. If you want to continue doing the simplify, like, 7 minus 4 is 3 and 10 minus -3 is 13, stuff like that, you're more than welcome to. This just is a faster option for some people. So if you have a calculator like this one or like this one, you go second, and then the x squared button, if you hit that, the secondary function on that is a square root. And then you'll go parentheses, and then we're just going to type in exactly what we have written here. 7 minus 4, close the parentheses, and then squared, plus parentheses, 10 minus -3, close the parentheses, squared, enter. If it gives you something like this with a square root on it, there should be a button above the equals sign that you can hit. That'll make it a decimal for you. So this is approximately 13.34 units for that side length, this one right here, AB. All right, so then we'll do the same thing for AC. We'll let this still be x1, y1, but this time C will be x2, y2. So we'll take the square root, x2 minus x1, negative 8 minus 4. y2 minus y1, 2 minus negative 3. They'll toss that into a calculator as well. If you want to put that into, like maybe you use the online calculator like Desmos or something like that. So I'll go ahead and show how you would do that in Desmos. So the first thing you do, go to Desmos. There we go. All right, and so you want to go to this bottom left corner and get the keypad and go square root, parentheses. We had negative 8 minus 4, close the parentheses, squared, plus parentheses. We had 2 minus negative 3, close the parentheses, squared. And you get 13. What I really like about this one is that it shows you exactly what you have typed into the calculator all on one screen. So if you made a mistake somewhere, it's easy to see where it is and fix it. So our answer for this one should be 13 for that side length. So this is 13. That's this side here, AC. Then lastly, we want to figure out the length of BC. So this time we'll have B be x1, y1, and C will be x2, y2. One more square root. This time x2 minus x1 is negative 8 minus 7 squared. y2 minus y1 is 2 minus 10 squared. Putting this into the calculator, take a minute, try it on your own, pause the video if you need to, and see what you get. When you come back, your answer that you should get for that side length is 17 when you type it into the calculator. If you got something different, try typing it in again and make sure you include all of your parentheses and include all of your negative signs and your squares and all that good stuff. Then to find perimeter, you just have to add all three sides together. So the perimeter is going to be 13 plus 17 plus 13.34, which gives us 43.34, or approximately 43.3, since the worksheet told us to round to the nearest tenth. So when you get to the very end, round to the nearest tenth. All right. So on the other side of the sheet right here, we should put 43.3 was our answer to number 6. And then since this is a puzzle time, we can go down. We're supposed to circle the letter with the correct answer in that box. So in this case, we'd circle O. All right. So the next thing I'd like you to do, if you're watching this video, go ahead and try number 5 on your own. Do number 5 right here. Give it a shot. When you get done, the notes are going to be posted in Google Classroom. Go check with the notes and see if you got the correct answer to number 5. And then, as always, if you need help, feel free to ask questions in class or come to see me in the morning before school. Otherwise, that's all we've got for today. Your homework assignment is to finish this worksheet, numbers 1 through 9, and we've already done 6. And numbers 1 through 4 are all review from yesterday. All right. Good luck. I'll see you guys later.